What's up, guys?
Oh, it's Nigerian news at channel 19. Before we start our special segment on Boko Haram, I just want to apologize for our shaky cameraman and our little sniffles that are going on in the background. Our cameraman / woman is sick right now. So, just ignore that and enjoy the following show.
Lo siento.
Today on Nigerian news, we have a special edition all about Boko Haram. To begin with, the name Boko Haram translates as Western education is a harm or sin. Just this alone clues to listeners that Boko Haram is against all Western education and there may be a threat to education and government within Nigeria. The first goal of this group was to be a religious group spreading a good message, although it soon turned into a terrorist group. It all began when a preacher by the name Muhammad Marwa started preaching his extreme sermons. He eventually declared that reading any book other than the Quran was a sin and a sign of opposition towards the Islamic religion. Although he was not the official founder of the terrorist group, he did start the movement against the government and imposed Sharia law. Sharia law is religious principles that form the Islamic tradition. It was once installed throughout the Nigerian government, but was done away with as a part of the settlement of 1960. The main principles of Sharia law are based upon the concept of a male-dominated society, which includes women not being allowed to be educated and act. Boko Haram's goal was to make Nigeria an official Islamic state by installing Sharia law throughout the African country. The official founder of Boko Haram was Muhammad Yusuf, and as I mentioned before, their main goal was to make Nigeria an official Islamic state. It was founded in 2002, and Boko Haram's hundreds of followers, also called Yusufiya, consist largely of impoverished northern Islamic students and clerks, as well as many other professions, many of whom are unemployed. These people are sick of the corrupt government and wish to change it, and their affiliation with Boko Haram will help start this movement. And another group of soldiers that Boko Haram targets are young and uneducated children who know nothing better than to join this group, and from a young age are told to pass on Boko Haram's message. This group turned brutally violent in 2009 after members of Boko Haram refused to wear helmets while riding motorcycles because they said it went against their Islamic beliefs. Yusuf and other members were jailed, which started a riot against the group and the Nigerian police force. From then on, this group has targeted schools, churches, and the police force. Eventually, Muhammad Yusuf was executed, and the current leader, Abu Bakr Shiku, is installing numerous terrorist campaigns involving information from Al-Qaeda, such as how to manufacture and use bombs and how to execute mass terrorist attacks. As you may have noticed, the goal of Boko Haram has changed throughout the years with the help, and it has transformed by the Islamic beliefs. It started out with the goal of creating just a simple religious group and spreading an Islamic message, but turned into a terrorist group whose goal was to overthrow the government and install Sharia law throughout the country. Thanks everyone for listening, and now off to sports with Andrew.
Welcome to Nigerian sports. Hey guys, here are some fun facts about sports within Nigeria. There's sports such as rugby and boxing. There are many forms of it, and many of them are performed during festivals. There's also football, which is American soccer. And it's interestingly, in 2013, Nigeria ended a 19-year African Cup of Nations title drought with a 1-0 victory over Burkina Faso.
Thanks for that sports report, Andrew. Now we're back to our special report. It's just a normal day. You're preparing to depart school after concluding an exam review session. All is calm, tranquil, until shots ring out, and you run. But what if they caught you? What if you were to marry at 12 years old, but that marriage was nothing more than an excuse for rape? What if you gave birth, as Amina Ale Keke did, as a mere schoolgirl? And what if this dreadful nightmare was the product of a rising terrorist organization and its misconstrued interpretation of Islam? Since 2009, The Islamist militant group known as Boko Haram has partaken in a violent crusade against the education of women, whom they feel belong in a domestic environment, nurturing children and tending to their husbands' needs. In April of 2014, Boko Haram gunmen kidnapped around 270 schoolgirls from a boarding school in Chibok, which is located in northeastern Nigeria. This particular area was singled out by Boko Haram due to its inclusion of a Western style of education, which, according to the terrorist organization, compromises Muslim principles. The Boko Haram militants opened fire upon the town and then traveled to the school, where they stormed the dormitories and deposited the schoolgirls onto heavy motor vehicles. In the words of Abubakar Shekau, a prevalent figure in the Boko Haram movement, the girls were employed as a valuable tool to illustrate the implementation of Boko Haram's vision of Sharia, which refers to Islamic law. Furthermore, Shekau asserted that the holy directives prompted him to sell an abundance of the non-Muslim girls as slaves, and that more kidnappings would soon be executed. The remaining abductees were forced to convert to Islam, wed Boko Haram militants, and perform strenuous labor. Reports from reputable sources such as the New York Times claim that many adolescents captured by Boko Haram are tasked with fighting, cooking, cleaning, and producing children, while others even served as suicide bombers. Although a portion of the Nigerian girls have been able to escape, the whereabouts of 219 remain unknown. Shekau defended Boko Haram's endeavors and maintained that prematurely grooming the young girls as brides is in accordance with the Islamic ideology. He referenced the Prophet Muhammad himself as evidence of his statements, professing that the actions of Boko Haram were like it was done on Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, which alludes to the uncertainty surrounding the age of Aisha when she became engaged. Shekau also deemed the girls' attendance of schools, especially ones that discard Islamic teachings, as an infringement upon Islamic law, because he, amongst the other Boko Haram members, views the female gender as fit for marriage and bearing children alone. Shekau even went so far as to portray himself as the savior of the young women that Boko Haram has abducted. To him, these girls represent nothing more than an opportunity to promote the religion of Islam as Boko Haram comprehends it.
All right, here's your Nigerian weather update here, folks. 5-day forecast. Today, we got rain starting at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, thunder showers, more rain. Thursday and Friday is looking good. You're going to have some clouds, but mostly sunshine. Weather right around 95 to 98 degrees. And Saturday, we're picking up with the rain again, but it's going to be 96 degrees. Sorry about those movements, folks. Our cameraman had a little malfunction, but have a good... All right. You know what? Thanks, folks. Have a great day.
Perfect. Go.
Thanks, Owen, for that 5-day forecast. Now back to our special report. With my own 2 eyes, I saw a whole family, 5 of them, perish in their car. This statement was given by Idris, a 43-year-old truck driver who witnessed an explosion that rocked Nigeria on Christmas Day. The attack happened in 2011 at St. Teresa's Church in Madala, which is a suburb of the capital Abuja in Nigeria. A church member told the Time magazine that a man with a motorbike dropped a bag outside of the church. This bag contained the bomb that killed many and injured several more. Furthermore, this attack was a part of numerous bombings on churches across the entire country of Nigeria. However, this is not the first bombing by the Boko Haram terrorist organization. On Christmas Eve of 2010, the year before, Boko Haram detonated a bomb in Jos at another church. It reportedly killed 32 individuals. The reason for all of this violence is Sharia law. Boko Haram wants to create a society where an extreme version of Sharia law is instituted. Churches and Christians are a violation of Sharia law and would prevent an establishment of the strict Islamic State from ever forming. However, religion is not the only motivating factor of the bombings. Boko Haram has a very anti-government sentiment. One of the contributing reasons for this is the army's intrusions into regions where Boko Haram has a lot of support. In one instance, the army went into Damaturu. Here, they engaged in a shootout with the Boko Haram group. Several people were killed, 3 of whom were soldiers, but 50 were civilians. The violence only serves to fuel the Boko Haram group, especially in predominantly Muslim areas where there is a higher rate of poverty and unemployment than the more oil-rich South Christian regions. The next year, in 2012, Boko Haram attacked churches in the state of Kaduna. The 3 churches were hit by suicide bombers. Kaduna is a state that is already filled with religious strife and conflict because it sits between the Christian south and the Muslim-dominated north. The attacks on the Christian churches only further deepen the divide between Muslims and Christians in Nigeria. Moreover, some angry youths started rioting and attacked Muslims on the streets. Boko Haram said in a statement that Christians must embrace Islam or they will never have a peace of mind. The goal is to enforce their interpretation of Islam, which is what drives Boko Haram. These bombings of churches over the past several years are the result of Boko Haram's thought that Sharia law must mean that a true Islamic state must be formed and that it cannot include Christianity in any way.
Thank you, and that concludes our segment.
Fun fact, there are 500 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
Fun fact! Nigeria is Africa's most populated country with 162.5 million people.
Fun fact, this represents 2.35% of the population.
Fun fact, the Nigerian soccer team has made 5 appearances in the World Cup and won the African Cup of Nations 3 times and won the gold medal at the 1996 Olympics.
Those facts about Nigeria. Now we're going to have a full detailed look in Boko Haram. So Boko Haram is a terrorist group who is responsible for many attacks and the kidnapping of the schoolgirls. But who is the person behind these events? In the article, Nigeria's Boko Haram leader, Abubakar Shakil, in Profile by BBC News, goes into full details about leaders of Boko Haram, along with who they are, what they aim for, and the reasonings for the decisions they make. Muhammad Yusuf was the founder of Boko Haram in 2002, spreading the Islamic Law in Nigeria during a hardship in Nigerian government. And also, fun fact, Boko Haram also translates to Western education is forbidden, and another notable figure in Boko Haram terrorist group is Abubakar Shakil, the current leader of Boko Haram after the death of Muhammad Yusuf in 2009. Abubakar Shakil is also most notorious for releasing a video about the admittance of the kidnappings of the girls. The reasoning for the kidnapping of the kids was their belief that women should not be educated.
Now for a quick traffic update. The traffic is very heavy this morning as there has been an unfortunate car accident on Route 94. So, traffic is very slow. If you're going that way, I would steer clear. But just know that if you are going to use Route 94, you might be late for work. That's all for traffic update.
Thanks, Anusha, for that special traffic report. Now back to our special presentation. Boko Haram has been increasing its malicious intent since 2009, where the group began to heavily arm its soldiers. While they gained more and more power, it came at a cost of the innocent villagers around them. Mainly targeting women and children, Boko Haram has kidnapped small girls and attached suicide bombs to others, asking them to go into the town and detonate the bomb, killing themselves and others around them. The terrorist acts leave a small number of options for the victims and result in death, serious injury, and traumatization that stays with them for the rest of their lives. The acts by this terrorist group have resulted in over 12,000 deaths since 2002, and the frequency of the deaths rising since 2009. Villagers have become very fearful and have begun moving away from the group's inhabited area to small, more rural areas. It has become apparent that these areas are not inhabited by Boko Haram for a specific reason. In fact, they lack an organized governmental structure and economy, making Boko Haram no closer to their end goal of an Islamic state. The rise of Boko Haram has not only impacted the people within Nigeria, it has also influenced the economy, which has taken a major hit since the emergence of the terrorist group. There was almost an immediate drop in foreign direct investment in 2012, which is an investment made by a company living outside of the area it's investing, in the form of establishing business operations or acquiring business assets in the area. The radical Islamic group has scared away the prospective investors from Nigerian business inquiries. $1.9 billion, or 21%, was lost in 2012 in a country having an already short supply of funds.
thank you for watching this edition of Nigerian News.
We hope you enjoyed.
And learned a lot without getting too bored.
Now it's time for